Okay. All right, you're doing fantastic. You're doing great, Zeta. I love that. All right, we're just waiting for a few more persons. Okay. All right, guys, give us 1 second. All right, so while we wait, are there any questions? So who was in our last session? Who was in our financial aid session? All right, okay. All right, Jaheem. All right, Ebony. Yes, I remember your question. All right, so give me 1 second, guys. Ah, there she is. Okay. Hi then, Trisha. We can't hear you. Ah, no, I can hear you.
Awesome. How are we?
We're doing fantastic. Fantastic, not fantastic. All right, so welcome. All right, so everyone, so this is the St. George's University information session. All right, so have your questions ready. Save them till the end, and then Trisha, take it away.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Jody, for inviting me and having me here. And guys, I heard that your last session was amazing. So hopefully this one will be just as amazing. I do want to see where you are joining us from in Jamaica. Do we only have Jamaicans in the house, or do we have others from up north? Where are you from? Let me know in the chat or in the Q&A box where you're joining us from before we start, so I can see who I have here with me today. Yeah, Jamaican. Okay, excellent. All righty. Awesome. Okay. Super Kingston. Okay, I went to Kingston. Amazing. I've been to Jamaica. I didn't want to come back to St. Kitts. So I'm located on St. Kitts, just a few notches below you guys. I didn't want to come back. The vibe was everything. Excellent. So I'm so happy to be speaking with all of you today. We're going to be speaking about St. George's University, and we are located on the beautiful island of Grenada. And we have worked with the students throughout the years, over 40 years, undergraduate level, graduate level. Some of you would know us for our medical school and our veterinary program. So we're going to be moving through that very quickly. And I want to hear your questions and any feedback that you want to get from me. If I can't answer anything, I'll make sure to connect you with someone on my team who'll be able to speak to maybe one of those tough questions that you'd ask me. So we are located on Grenada. For those of you who aren't aware, we're at the bottom of the Caribbean, and we have not only been serving Caribbean students, but we have been serving students in the US, in the UK, and in Canada. And we've been doing this for over 40 years. We're an accredited university. And what I can say is we have a lot of Jamaicans coming through SGU that I'm really proud of, that have made us proud as a university, but I'm guessing that they have made your country proud as well. Most of them that I know are in the US. A few have returned home, but they have come to our shore and they've done incredible work in one of our schools. So we're going to be speaking about how you can join that cohort of Jamaicans who would have passed through to rep your country and to achieve your professional goal, whether it is to be a physician, whether it is to be a vet, or whether it is just to up your qualification with a master's or to get that first degree. So we have 4 schools. We have the School of Arts and Sciences. We also have the School of Graduate Studies, and we have the School of Medicine and the School of Veterinary Medicine. And in our School of Arts and Sciences, we have an accounting program. So we have the BSc in accounting, we have business management, general biology, and a lot of our students use general biology to transition into the medical program. We also have a Bachelor's of Science in IT. For those of you who are into technology, international business, that is a popular one for many of our students from the Caribbean, and also marine wildlife and conservation biology. We've seen that a lot of our students who've completed this degree that they're doing research or they have gone on, or they're working really closely with their Ministry of Agriculture, their Ministry of Marine Development, whatever is the equivalent within Jamaica or within the neighboring islands. We also provide a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. And in this program, it's a 3-year program. You get to pass the licensing examination to work anywhere within the CARICOM Islands. So you have options. But we also have faculty who have worked in the US and in the UK. So if you want to transition, you want to be a nurse and you want to work in the US, in the UK, with this program, we have faculty who can help you to really plan and strategize to make that move as seamlessly as possible. We also have a BSc in Tourism and Hospitality Management, and that's a huge one because you know that tourism is a thing for us within the Caribbean, and we cannot forget those in our social sciences. So we have a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology and Sociology. And so whether you want to start off with us, we have a space for you. It's a small cohort in our undergraduate school, but it's so diverse that I love that students get to come here and they transition. I know of one Jamaican student who came in her undergrad, and then she would have done the master's program that I would have gone on, that I'm going to go on to. And now she's the faculty at SGU. So you have options to start with us, to stay with us, or to expand in whatever capacity that you think is appropriate. For School of Graduate Studies. Now, this is for you if you want to take your career to the next level, or you just want to start and get ahead of the competition. You want to make yourself a bit more marketable. We offer a Master's of Public Health, the MPH. And as you know, you've been hearing about the pandemic. You know that anyone with an MPH is talking right now, and the MPH seems to be a buzzword right now. And so this is a program that is 14 months. It's pretty fast paced. It is accredited. It is one of the only accredited MPH programs within the Caribbean. And a lot of our students complete this Master's of Public Health. They move into research, or some of them, they go into education. Some of them, a lot of our Caribbean MPH grads, they're serving their governments right now within this pandemic because of their MPH qualification. Then, of course, what is a grad school without that MBA? So you have that MBA where you have an externship, you get to be attached to a business anywhere in the region. You get to do so much work in the community with your cohort. I know that our faculty, they are from around the region. So we have persons not only from the US, but I'm really proud of that. We have a faculty lead from Barbados. We have a few from Trinidad. And so you have a great mix of faculty members who will be pouring into you. And for those of you who are into education, we have a Master's in Education and MSCs in Management. And then there's a Master's of Arts in Clinical Community Psychology, which I particularly like because many times you hear about clinical psychology, counseling, but there isn't really a program that specifically speaks to the research from the Caribbean. This program was set up for you to work in the Caribbean, for you to serve your country. And so a lot of what the case studies, what you're going to be exposed to is really community and Caribbean based, because we want to make sure that you're going back to your country and you're serving with distinction, and you're not serving with a deaf ear. You are serving, understanding the culture. And then we provide PhD programs, and few students take that route. We know that a terminal degree is an investment, but it is always an option for you if you're thinking about just getting that terminal degree in your graduate studies. Now, what I love about SGU is that students can couple their degrees and walk away with 2 degrees in one. Now, we have that MD program, that master's in that doctorate in medicine, and you can couple that with an MPH. So you can couple that with research in some community issue, some issue that is playing in your island. You can take back that proposal as a doctor and as a researcher to your country. You have options. Some persons, they do the MD program and then they do the MBA program. They want to go on the business side of medicine. We see a lot of persons who are moving into higher ed, or they want to do any startups. They do that MBA in addition to their MD. Or some may just do a normal master's of science in whatever capacity. Then we, as I would have shared before, we offer DVM programs. So you can also couple your DVM program with an MPH, with an MBA, or with an MSc. So you have options to really fine tune your career. What I love about these options for you as students, if you're thinking about moving within that route, is that you may start with us straight out of high school and realize maybe in your 4th year, you want to do an MBA with your medical school degree. That is an option for you. And it's a minimal cost, because we want to make sure that our grads, when they go out there and people see their qualifications, they are impressed, and you can at least have options to apply anywhere in the world. I want to speak about the program that a lot of our students ask us about, the School of Medicine. Every single week, guys, I speak to more than 10 Jamaicans about our School of Med program. So I know that we have a lot of physicians or persons who are interested.
We love our doctors.
We love our doctors. I know, we love our doctors. We love our lawyers. So you guys ask me all of the tough questions. So I want to spend some time speaking about this, because this is an option that I really want you to consider, whether you want to think about SGU as your school of choice. But I want to get in your mind, when you're thinking about a medical school, you want to make sure that not only the curriculum is right, but the network is right, and that you're able to take some examinations to actually serve as a doctor. So there are different pathways to joining us in our medical program. You can join us straight out of high school, guys. You can join us straight out of high school, okay? You can join us straight out of high school in our 7-year program. So you need those CSEC. And when I speak about CSEC, guys, I'm thinking about those 1s and 2s, okay? We want to make sure that our grades are up there. You can join us once you have that English, that math, that chemistry, that bio. Some students have physics. That's an add-on, but you want to make sure that you have at least 6 CSEC subjects to be able to join us. And this enters you into the preclinical program. When you're speaking about law, there's the pre-law. Well, this is the preclinical program to the 4-year MD program. Now, let us say you start 6th form and you've been an associate. You've probably the 1st year in CAPE, or you have an associate's degree. And in addition to your CSEC, you can join us in our 6-year program. Now, let's just say you complete all of CAPE units. You have done all the work at your community college. You can join us in our 5-year program. And this really helps you to set the foundation before you move into that 4-year MD program. Now, what I will say is students who take this route, they have an easier time transitioning into the 4-year MD program than, let us say, someone who may have done a 1st degree at another school and they're considering applying competitively for the 1st year in the 4-year MD program. Now, for whatever reason, you might say, hey, then Tricia, I just listened to a university where I want to do my 1st degree. SGU is going to be, my second option for the Doctor of Medicine program. that is okay. Once you have a first degree that is science-based, and we see that you have done really substantial work in the sciences and your grades match. And when I say your grades match, make sure that it's a 3.2 and up GPA, because medical school is competitive. Remember, we're fighting for those seats with the Americans, with those in UK, with those in Canada, all over the world. To find a place in the medical program, you can apply to us. Now, in the medical program, you start off in Grenada, you get that hands-on, you get the curriculum, you learn about the sciences, the basics. Then you have the option to transition to the US, to the UK, to Canada to complete your residency experience. And then you can continue to do your externship or your clinical year at an approved site. So you get to start in Grenada, or you get to start in the UK, and then you get to transition, or you get to move to the UK and then maybe transition to the US. Now, what I tell students is, don't even worry about your visa. Don't worry about all the immigration requirements. Once you are in the program, there is a department that is set up to help you to do all of the behind the scene work to make sure that you enter the US smoothly, that all your documents are straight and in order, that you have your finances, your budget right, so that you can at least survive out there. Because, when we're thinking about school, guys, we're not only thinking about tuition, we're thinking about eating, okay? We're thinking about living, we're thinking about partying, relaxing, enjoying ourselves. So our team, they sit with our students to make sure that they are not only at a place where they might have a specialty, but they're also in a place where they can thrive and not think about the financial burden that is required in studying in the US or studying in the UK. Now, you can start with us in Grenada, or you can start with us in the UK at Northumbria University. We have an agreement with Northumbria University in Newcastle for students who want to start in their preclinical years in the UK. Many of our Caribbean students take this option. A lot of them say, hey, Dentricia, I have lived in the Caribbean all my life. I want something different. And they get to study in the UK in their preclinical year. It's the same curriculum. It's the same outcome. It's the same faculty. The only difference is the location. And so you get to choose. Once you move through that admissions process, you get to tell us where you want to start. Because once you get into our admissions process, you're going to be assigned an admissions counselor who is going to work with you throughout the process. And they're going to make sure that all is in place if you want to start in the UK. One of the things that I ask persons to think about when they're thinking about university is, does the university have a network of hospitals and healthcare systems that I can be trained at? You want to make sure that you have options to be able to be trained and supported, not only by our SGU network, but by others in the field. So we have over 70 hospitals and healthcare systems and support services in 3 countries. So it's the US, Canada, or the UK. And here's the thing, a lot of our Caribbean students, they're in New York completing their clinical year. They're in Miami completing their clinical year. Actually, I just spoke to a Jamaican student who is in New York right now doing her clinical year. And there are so many. I was speaking to one of our faculty members that I would have shared. She would have started in Grenada, and she would have done her clinical work in DC, Washington, DC. And then she would have come back to SGU to give up her time. And so you have options to kind of move between continents. If that is your thing, you have options to move. There's a huge network. And I want to just pause on this because I know a lot of our doctors or doctors in training, you baby doctors, you're literally thinking about, I want to be a surgeon. I want to be a pediatrician. You're thinking about your specialty even before you apply to medical school. Having such a large network makes sure that you get to be placed in a hospital where you can be trained in your specialty. We had a webinar just a few weeks ago, and we're speaking to a student from Bermuda, and he is a plastic surgeon. Like, do you know of Caribbean doctors to be plastic surgeons just off the fly? Amazing. So we get to we connected him with that clinical experience to be trained in that area. And now he's back at home in Bermuda, serving one of the best on the island. And so you have options in terms of the hospitals. Another aspect that I want you to consider when you're thinking about medical school is, will I be able to pass the licensing examination? Because it is one thing to study for 7 years, for 4 years, for 6 years, for 5 years. And at the end of all of your studying, you cannot pass the examination. You can't pass board examinations. You can't be licensed to either work in the US, work in Canada, work in the UK, or even to come back home. Your school is not accredited. And so what we have realized is that 94% of our Caribbean students pass the licensing examination to be a doctor on their first try. And 100% pass the examination in Canada to be doctors. And that's on their first try. And you know what that speaks to? It speaks to how bright we are. I know that we're bright, we're smart, but it also speaks to the curriculum that prepares you from day one to be able to answer those tough questions. So by the time you are in year 7, year 6, year 4, and you're sitting and taking that examination, you're already prepared. It's a walk. You can do it in your sleep. And that is something I want you to consider. Will I be able to pass that board examination to be able to actually serve as a doctor? Absolutely, yes, at SGU. We also place our students in residencies all over the world. And we are the #1 provider in first-year US residencies for over the past 11 years combined. And as of last year, we have over 1,110 US residencies that our Caribbean students are a part of. And I think that's really great news, because it shows that even in the height of the pandemic, students are still being placed in locations to be trained and to be refined, even those in the Caribbean. And so a lot of our Caribbean grads, they have done their residencies in North Carolina. Texas is another huge one. Florida is just a stone throw away from Jamaica. In the UK, and a lot of our students decide to do it at home. So we've had some Trinidadians, they've decided to do their residency work back at their local hospital. That is also an option for you. And a residency simply means you have a supervisor, you are a doctor in training. So you get to actually follow the doctors, do all the things, within your residency year to give you that hands-on experience. So whether it is you want to be a board certified doctor, or you want to return to the Caribbean, or you want to go into research, or you just want to serve your local hospital, you have options with SGU, because you get to be trained in the Caribbean, you get to be trained in the US, you get to be trained in the UK, and you're also prepared to take licensing examinations in Canada. Now, I want to just speak briefly on our veterinary program, because I really believe that our program does not get enough love as our medical school program does. But we do offer a doctor of veterinary medicine. And you can come to us as with the medical school program straight out of high school, but make sure you have those 1s and 2s, okay, in those sciences. So you can come, and as early as your first semester, you're going to be engaged in hands-on experience. And so the foundation is set in Grenada during year 7, 6, 5. And then you get to continue the work within the 4-year program, because as you know, the veterinary program is a graduate program. So you have a first degree, and in that process, you get a little doctorate as a vet. And then the most important thing is that you get to complete your clinical year program in the US, in Canada, in Ireland, and in Australia. And let me tell you, our Caribbean students are all over taking care of little baby sheep, goat, frogs, horses, all of the things all over the world. And you know that they're from the Caribbean, because we have a little energy and we have a little spice. So they are serving us so well all over the world, no matter how cold or dark it is. And we're so, so proud of them. So if you want to consider joining us, this is an option to join one of our 30 and counting affiliated schools to be trained as a physician. Now, similar to being licensed as a doctor, in order to be a vet, you have to pass the licensing examination. And SGU is an accredited school by the AVMA. So that means that we are similar to schools in the US, schools in Canada. And our students pass 92% on their first try of the NAVLE examination. And if you know about examinations, you know a lot of vets will tell you this is a tough exam. This is a tough exam. It's a multiple choice exam. It's not like those essay exams that we Caribbean students are used to. It's those multiple choice tricky examinations, but they pass and they do so well in that practical aspect as well. So we train you from day one to pass the NAVLE examination. So you get those large animal facilities, you get to do exchanges around the world, you get to join one of our affiliate schools, and you get hands-on training. You get to do work in the community in Grenada. And then when you move to your clinical year, you know that you're just taking care of the animals, learning the operations within a clinic so that you can come back home, whether to be a vet or stay out there and be a vet. So whatever pathway you're thinking about joining us, whether it is our School of Medicine, whether it is our School of Veterinary Medicine, whether it is our School of Arts and Sciences that really captured and spoke to our undergraduate program, or whether it is our graduate school program, you have a place in one of the best networks truly in terms of education. And let me tell you something about the SGU community. Once someone hears that you're from SGU, or you're a grad at SGU, or you know somebody from SGU, they love you, okay? They respect you. I cannot tell you enough of how many students in the Caribbean, they said they went to the US, and when the persons heard what school they came from, they said, okay, this person's gonna show us up. Not only are they from the Caribbean, but they came from SGU. They've done the work. And, you know, we as Caribbean students, we're very resilient, and, you know, we do really excellent. And so they shine in those different sites outside of the region and even at the region. So you can join that large network if we are an option for you. What I love about SGU, another aspect, is that you are not going to be alone. You know, sometimes you're at school and you feel like you can't turn to anyone. There isn't anyone to help you. You know that you're at university because you're on your own. You're literally helping yourself, swimming on your own, not at SGU. And that was a surprise to me because I came from another university. But we really hold your hand to make sure that you are okay and that you are getting the information in your head in a way that is appropriate to your learning style. And so we have an entire department, the Department of Educational Services, that supports your success. They teach you about your learning style. They hook you up to tutors. And, you know, I want to put a plug here. As Caribbean students, there is no foolish question, and we say yes to asking for help. I know a lot of our students, we struggle to ask for help, guys, but it's okay to ask for help. Doesn't mean you're not smart, but it means that you may just need some extra support. That is okay. So this department helps you to move through the programs with ease. Not only you, but this department also works with your lecturers and faculty to make sure that they are teaching you in a way that makes sense, because not everybody with an MD or a PhD can teach. We all know this. And so they really make sure that all of our faculty, that they are teaching you in a way that is modern, that you can understand, in a way that is well paced, so that you can understand and assimilate the information. Now, when you come to us, it's not all study, it's a lifestyle, okay? So you see these photos on my screen, guys? These are not photoshopped. I want to zoom in on the screen and say, these are not photoshopped. These are not photoshopped. Like, and listen, SGU is like a little hotel in Grenada. It's amazing. So on my far left, you're gonna see that beautiful building. That's our library. And, you know, you have different options in terms of our amenities. It literally looks like a resort. And I think that does a lot to our students' mental health, because moving away from home is tough. Being in med school, being in vet school is tough. And if you're traveling in a pandemic, it's tough. So you want to make sure that the environment is not depressing. So our physical facilities are really beautiful. You also have amenities similar to our gym, or whether it is our school shuttle that works with students. I know that our shuttle moves throughout Grenada and takes students to go to the market, takes students, pick them back up from town, bring them back to the university. Our shuttle makes sure that you are taken care of and you're not on your own. And then we are a diverse community. You know, our Caribbean population is a small one, but it's a tight-knit one. If you've ever been to a university, you know that our Caribbean students, it could be 10 persons on the campus within the university. We have a strong presence. And so you're going to see other persons, Africans, Indians, Americans, Canadians, persons from the UK, all over the world. And you get to really get involved in the culture, each of the cuisines, learn of their different celebratory days. You have options in expanding your palette and your taste in terms of cultural experiences. And then at the bottom on my right is a dormitory. Or students who come in, first-time students, you have an option to stay on campus. You have an option to bunk up or to share a flatmate, have a flatmate. You share a space with someone, to stay on your own. That is something that we discuss with you later in the process of admissions when you are accepted and you're now thinking about moving and coming to the island. But you have that option. I know a lot of our Caribbean students, they stay on campus the first year just to see how things are. And then they transition to campus approved housing off of the island in a different part of Grenada. And note that even if you decide to move off of campus, that campus security roams the different areas that our students live in around Grenada. And you know, Grenada is not a really huge island. So campus security can easily roam the island to make sure that you are safe, and that safety is always important. So once you are a first year student, you have the option to stay on campus. There are meals, and know that you may not be bunked with someone from the Caribbean. You may be bunked with someone from the US. So you have the opportunity to form friendships with persons from different cultures. And obviously, we're in the Caribbean. And I know in Jamaica, you know about our natural beauty. So you know that you're stressed out. You can just go to the beach, you know, settle yourself and, you know, de-stress, vent, study. You have options because it's just a really picturesque island. Not only are we speaking about the physical amenities or the operational amenities, but you can join one of our student clubs and organizations. What I tell persons is that when you leave home, you want to find, the first thing you want to do is find a club doing something that you are passionate about. That will guarantee that you have at least one friend within your first year. So we have different clubs. We have the student government, we have the Caribbean Association, that I may say, or Jamaicans lead. Okay, so you guys are leading our student Caribbean Student Association. We have Women in Medicine. If you are into faith, there is the Christian Association. If you're into helping animals in the community, there are clubs along that line. If you're into climate change and women issues, we have over 60 clubs and organizations that you can be a part of, that I really suggest when you come to us, you join so that you can find your tribe and not feel so alone when you've transitioned away from home. Now, here's the fun thing. It's not all study and club work. You can relax. We know that every Saturday, our students, whether you're from the Caribbean or another university, another region in the world, you get to jog around the island. They call it island hash. So if you're into jogging, that is an option for you. If you're into basketball, that's an option for you too. We have the gym. If you're into yoga like me and you want to just zen out, there are yoga classes. If you know anything about Grenada, you know that Grenada is known for diving sites under the sea. You can become certified and dive. A lot of our students complete their diving certification before they leave the island. And then there is field hockey. Now, this is not ice hockey. All Caribbean students play this. hockey on the court. And, it's a fun experience. And so you have options to de-stress. In addition to the curriculum and in addition to finding your tribe and finding your place in our community through our clubs. Now, I want to speak briefly on finances, because I know that as Caribbean students, money is a huge thing for us, yeah? So as a university, we have 3 options for our students in terms of finances. We provide scholarships, and obviously your family might have contributions to make sure that you are supported, even if it's with a little through their family contributions. Your mommy may send a little $10, a little $100 now and again, so that you can survive. You can buy your ramen and eat. And then there are SGU institutional loans. And let's say that you are a Jamaican and you have citizenship in the US. You can apply for US federal student loans. And that is an easy process for our students who have dual citizenship. A lot of our students up north capitalize on this because we know it's a reality, right? So you have different options in joining us. I do want to say, as of last year, we gave up to 64% scholarships to students. And I want to just spend some time on scholarships. No, just because you are born in the Caribbean, you get 65% off of the veterinary program tuition and of the medical school program. You have to do nothing. You don't have to apply. You don't have to write an essay. You don't have to do an interview for this scholarship. Just showing that you were born in the Caribbean, you get 65% off. And when you move into that MD program, that 4-year MD program, remember I would have stated that you're moving to the US or the UK, you get up to 35% off of your tuition. And university is an investment. And what I love about our team is that we sit with you to make sure that your budget makes sense for you. So don't be shy to say, hey, Dentricia, I want to set up a meeting with someone in finance to speak about the money. I want to set up a meeting for you to speak to my parents about this money situation. We can do that, and we've done that, and that's not a problem. Now, let us say you want to do the graduate school program. As a Caribbean student, you get up to 50% off of the tuition for a graduate program. The undergraduate program, we have the Caribbean Visionary Scholarship Award, where we give students 100% tuition off of your tuition for your undergraduate degree. And I would have moved through the different degrees that you can complete when you join us. In addition to that, there are other academic, needs-based service awards and global scholars awards. So you may get a little award because you were on the dean's list or because of your work in the community. Those can stack up and they can be added to the tuition discounts that you get as students. And so we hardly turn away students because of finances. If you let us know, money is tight for me, we sit down, we work out how we can make it work for you. And we make sure that you at least get the education that you deserve, because money should not be a problem. Now, I know the question is, okay, then Tricia, you have me excited. You have me excited. Okay, girl, we need to apply. Let me walk you through the admissions process. So it's an easy online process. You can submit the application. There's an online application. A part of this online application is that personal statement. And this is where you are telling us your story, who you are, what do you want to do with this degree? Why is it important to you? We want to get a clear sense of who you are. So sell yourself. I know sometimes in the Caribbean, we're a bit reserved with bigging up ourselves. Blow your trumpet, because the admissions team is a very diverse team. It's not only persons in the Caribbean reviewing your application, it's persons in the US, the UK, in other parts of the world who are, they don't know your name, they don't know your face. They just know you by what you share with us. So you want to make sure that you're selling yourself well, so that when we're reading that personal statement, we're like, wow, this person stands out. And in addition to that, we want to get your transcripts. whether it's a transcript from the university, if you're joining us straight out of another university. We want to get your grades. So those CAPE results, those CSEC results. I know that the results they've come in late this year. Okay. We are very understanding. And we're in tune with what is happening around the region as well. And so a lot of our students, they've been holding their breaths for their results, and they send us the same day when their results come out. We get it. Yeah. So send us your transcripts, and that can be easy as an email, or your school can send it to us. And then I want to spend some time on those letters of recommendation. We need at least 2 letters of recommendation. I always tell students, we want to make sure that someone from your old school, whether it's your high school, whether it's your university, whether it's a professor, someone can speak to who you are academically. We want to see, in addition to the transcript and the grades, who are you academically based on your letter of recommendation? And then we want to take it a bit further. If you are involved in the community, we want to make sure that someone in a club that you're in, someone in the community, sometimes there are government ministers who write letters of recommendation. The options are wide for you, but they should be able to speak to you about who you are outside of school. And that's really important to us at SGU. Obviously, we look at the grades. I would have mentioned we want to make sure that you have that 3.2 GPA, those 1s and 2s. But we care a lot about what is your impact in your community. And so if you're thinking about applying, do you want to volunteer at a clinic? Can you spend Saturdays shadowing a doctor? Can you start maybe a social media campaign around health and medicine? Do you want to, start a club within your school? We love to see students who are involved beyond the academics. They're holistic, apply to us, because we're not only working, we caring about doctors or professionals who just know all of everything on paper. They're great on paper, but they don't care about making an impact in their community. So we want to make sure that you are holistic and well-rounded, and we are seeing that throughout your application. Now, here's the thing. If you are applying to our DVM or MD and or nursing program, you will move through an interview process. And it's a conversation. There is an admissions person who's going to ask you questions about who you are. They're going to ask you everything that you have put on paper to make sure that there is an alignment. And I always tell students, if for whatever reason your grades were not the best, this is the time in the interview to speak up for yourself and to speak about, hey, this happened, my grades were not the best. This is why I am the best student for this school. This is the time where you blow us away. After that interview process, the team comes back, we review your application, we review the notes on the interview, and we make a decision. We give you that decision through an email, and then the ball is in your court. You decide whether you want to come to SGU or go to another school. You let us know of your decision, and then our admissions counselor who's going to be assigned to you, they work with you to make sure that you're prepared to transition to Grenada or to the UK. And in as easy as 1, 2, 3, you start school. I do want to state that if you're thinking about joining us in January, the deadline is today, the 15th. That's okay. If you reach out to me, we can make something work. But guess what? We have given students the option to start staying at home or virtually because of the pandemic. And you can understand that. A lot of students may not want to travel, may not be able to take the vaccination for whatever reason. Everyone is different. We have given students for the January semester the option to start virtually, and a lot have decided to come to the island. We don't know what that will look like in September. We cannot predict how this pandemic would roll out, but know that we are looking at the transition, the time that we are in, and we're making changes to our operations so that you can get the education that you need in spite of all the craziness that this pandemic is carrying us through. So when you train with us, you can work in the US, you can work in Canada, you can work in the Caribbean, come back at home and serve the Caribbean, or you can work anywhere else in the world. Why? because an accredited university where accredited or medical school is accredited or vet school is accredited or MPH program is accredited. We are an accredited university. And so I am looking forward to seeing some of you join us, seeing you fill up my calendar to have those one-on-one conversations with you and your family so that you can join us. So we offer state-of-the-art teaching facilities or curriculum. I must say, or curriculum, guys, it's not a walk in the park, but it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. And our Caribbean students are so smart. You'd have seen those exam numbers at 92%. You guys do so well. So you're up for the challenge. Then we have that small class experience. So you're not going to get lost in the numbers. You're going to have that individual attention that you deserve as a student. You have different clinical experience options, and then you have options for your residency experiences. So I want to leave this screen up. My name is Dantricia. I'm at the bottom. But note that if you want to take a screenshot, if you want to take my WhatsApp number, you can WhatsApp me. If you want to email me, you can do that. And we can set up a meeting to continue this conversation. I am going to ask though, guys, don't send me a WhatsApp or an email after 9 in the night, okay? Work begins at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to respond as soon as 8 o'clock hits. So I want to thank you for listening to me, and I want to give you the opportunity to ask me some questions, yeah?
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Dentricia. All right, so we have a question here from Brianna. Will the effects of the pandemic on mental health be taken into consideration when considering applications?
You know, that's a really great question. I would have mentioned our Department of Educational Services. And the thing is, they deal with students who may have a mental health challenge, because we know it's a lot, it's stressful. You guys are maybe in high school, in the sixth form, so it's tough. And so we have offered support groups to students. If we see that a student say, hey, I suffer from anxiety, depression, there is general anxiousness around this time, you let us know and we connect you with the licensed clinical professionals to get the help that you need. And that is the admissions process. When you come to us free of charge, you can get psychological support if that is, you know, an option for you. And so I really want you to consider, you know, that there is help no matter what you are struggling with. And I know that sometimes mental health is a taboo within the Caribbean. Like sometimes we are afraid to say, I'm depressed, I miss home, I'm anxious, I'm struggling, I'm overwhelmed. Know that a lot of our Caribbean students get help. It's confidential. It's included in their tuition cost, and they get that mental health support at every stage of the journey. So yes, there is help available to you at whatever stage you, whether it's admissions or whether you choose to join us. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. We have another question from Kiana. If I complete 2 years of sixth form or 2 units of CAPE, what aspect of the medical program would I fall into? Would I still be required to go through pre-med, or would I go straight to the medical program?
Yeah, so if you complete CAPE, that leads you into the 5-year program. So that's 1 year before the 4-year MD program. Yeah, so it's 1 year of preclinical. Now, let us say you say, I don't want to do a year in preclinical. I want to get my first degree in maybe biology, biochem. That's an option for you. But with your subjects right now, you can join us in our 5-year program and easily transition into the 4-year MD program. So that's 1 year, outside of the 4-year program. And I want to stress the grades, okay? So make sure it's chemistry, bio, math, or physics, okay? And we got to get those 1s and 2s. I know a lot of Caribbean students, they sit subjects again to make sure that their grades are top notch. That is okay, okay? You want to make sure when we are seeing your grades, we can say, okay, send her through. She's solid, all right?
Beautiful. Thank you, then, Tricia. All right. So this question from Ryan, I think this is more geared towards our consular affairs officer. So guys, so any visa related questions, my guys, visit jm.usembassy.gov and read through our non-immigrant visa section. And you can also reach out to them at kingstoniv@state.gov. So Ryan has a question. If I join the program and transfer to the UK, US, or Canada, are there opportunities to get into a work permit into one of those countries?
You know, that's a really great question. Our Caribbean students do so well within their residency experiences that the places that they would have done residency work decide to hire them. I know a lot of students take that option. And that workplace, that hospital, that center, they work out that work permit for you. But I want to say this, when you are out there, you want to make sure that you're performing excellently so that they can say, hey, we want to keep him, Ryan, or we want to keep her. If you know, it's a unisex name, guys. I'm really sorry, but decide to keep you to work with them. And I know that we have an Antiguan student who did that. She would have worked at a clinic. They loved her so much, they decided to keep her. She worked and then she transitioned to another hospital. Okay. And she got married and now she's still working in the US. So you have options, but you have to make sure that you're standing out in that residency and clinical experience because it's students from all over. And yeah, you want to stand out.
Absolutely. All right. So last question, guys. I'm so sorry, but we have to wrap up as we have another session at 3. So Ashanti asks, what if you didn't do chemistry, but you finished 6th form? How will this weigh on your options of applying or your chances of applying?
Did you do physics? Because some of our students don't do physics, they don't do chemistry, but they do physics. That's also a consideration. We look at bio. What is your grades like in bio? Did you do bio? Is that grade strong? What are the grades like in the sciences? We look at that. So I know some Caribbean students that do integrated science, you do bio, you do agri. We look at the grades in your science subjects if you don't do chemistry. Now we know that some students, they get in and they may do chemistry, you know, while they're provisionally accepted. That is also an option for you. What I would advise is that you connect with us so that we can sit and really look at your grades holistically, the subjects, and I can guide you really specifically. Yeah.
All right. Awesome stuff. Well, any parting words, then Tricia, any final words that I think you've given them everything they need. The key takeaways to keep those grades up, 1s and 2s, but any final words of wisdom?
Yeah, sure. So what I want you to think about, I know school is an investment for a lot of Caribbean students. We want you to sit with this information and to really think about, is SGU a right fit for me? You know, is it the right community for me in terms of what I want to do after I graduate? And if we are a great fit for you, you can reach out to me. I'm sharing my email in the chat so that you can reach out to me, my SGU email. You can message me. We can set up a meeting and then help you to move through that process. We're looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to seeing more Jamaicans on our campus. And guys, let us hope this pandemic ends so that I can come to Jamaica and I can see you guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for asking those really engaging questions. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, then, Teresa. And thank you, guys. So if you're interested in pursuing the other side of the brain, which is visual arts, if you're more artistically inclined like myself, please join us for the School of Visual Arts NYC information session in 2 minutes. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.